When Mr. Morgan gets home, then you can leave him be. You sure you don't mind if I don't stay until the bitter end? A detail car will follow him into the village, and then there's a covert team lined up for the overnight watch.
You go on.
Oh, Harry's got a car book for 8. If there are any problems...
It's fine, honest. You out tonight?
Maybe.
See you tomorrow. Ruth? Our man here lives off Junction
5.
So why is he coming off at 4?
No, please don't do this. Better get Harry. Robert Morgan, ex-army, a known trafficker in illegal arms under routine surveillance.
But up till now, nothing different, unusual.
No, today's timing en route fits the pattern of the last few days.
His activity has been dull as ditch water until this little deviation.
Police?
One-tail car.
How long's he been stopped there?
10 minutes.
He's right beside a disused RAF base.
What's he doing?
I think I know what he's doing there.
Harry, what is this?
This is a map of all the old Soviet KGB weapons hides scattered across the country in the good old days of the Cold War.
I didn't know these existed.
Not many people do.
And clearly Robert Morgan's one of them.
Yes. For reasons best known to himself, he's chosen now to visit this one. Keep a very close eye on this man.
Harry! Someone's fired a shot.
Red flash, Adam.
Accidental discharge from one of the police weapons teams.
Any of them hurt?
Not seriously.
Pity. So they're holding Morgan?
Yes. I've sent Colin and Malcolm to check out this hide.
So what do you think? If we allow the police to question him, they're bound to let him go. And now he knows we're onto him. He's lost his value as an asset. He's hardly going to put a foot out of place. There is another option, Harry. We could bring him in.
A man closely connected to the illegal arms trade, hanging around old weapons hides. I just want to ask him a few questions, find out what's going on.
Okay, we just have to conceal the fact that we've got him.
What about the police?
I'll do a deal with them. One thing, when you have your little chat, only tell me what I need to know.
Don't worry, Harry. I understand the principle of deniability.
Just don't give me too much to deny.
Don't let him sleep. And watch him, he knows what he's doing.
Well, you can be pretty sure Morgan's not setting up a fairground shooting gallery. This man's a civilian contractor.
Mercenary is probably nearer the mark.
Finance, friends and family. Everybody has a weakness in one of those areas. What's our time frame?
Well, Morgan's disappeared, so whoever's hired him will have to assume that an unfriendly force has taken him. And he'd be right about that.
It's a three-dimensional jigsaw.
What is the weapons hide?
What I'm saying is that you need to look at it as though it's a three-dimensional jigsaw. We were using the ultrasound to check for booby traps, but instead, right in the middle of the container, we found a space where a weapon used to be.
So Morgan must have been in there before and taken something.
So what was it?
A laser target designator.
One of these.
This one we found in the hide, one is missing. You pre-sight it, plant it in the ground somewhere, and then it can be automatically triggered to guide a missile to its target.
The laser beam hits the target and causes an invisible cone to rise above it. The missile then uses the cone as a kind of funnel to find its way to where it needs to go.
The beauty of this system is that it enables the control team that fires the missiles to remain miles out of the way.
I'm not sure the beauty is the word I would use if it were number 10 that went up in smoke.
Rather disturbingly, this ties in with information from E section. As you know, we scan the air above our cities for unusual radioactivity. Last week, one of our scanners picked up something strange, an untraceable flash. At the time, we didn't know the exact cause, but it looks like it might have been a laser designator having a trial wrong.
Where was this?
London.
Well, this changes things completely. The designator's already been preset and tested. Then we can probably assume that an attack is imminent.
And if I was running Morgan's op, I would bring things forward. The information he has on this attack will have a shelf life of what?
48 hours. 72 maximum. That's how long we've got to stop a guided missile falling somewhere in London. Danny, you're with me in the interrogation.
Ruth, I need you to check with Eshton for any chatter and get in touch with some of your mates at GCHQ.
He left his car near the weapons dump.
You and Colin, pull it apart.
I'll get onto those 3 Fs.
Start with finance.
This guy's a pro. He'll spend half his life doing anti-interrogation courses.
I spent half my career devising them. If he plays it by the book, he'll reveal just enough information to keep us interested in keeping him alive. And then after 3 days, he can tell us what he likes.
Because by then, his team will have had time to change their plans or carry out the attacks without him.
Exactly. This guy will use every trick in the book to hold out until his information's obsolete.
How do you want to play this?
Let's see how cooperative he's being.
And if he isn't? Your current address?
That's not such an easy question to answer.
Give it a whirl.
Okay. There's 2. 43 Kenilworth Road, Derby, and 32 St. David's Road, Hereford.
And would you prefer it if we called you Ken Johnson, Robert Morgan, or Rick Garbutt?
Take your pick. In my line of work, I need more than one name. You know the score.
How would you describe your line of work?
Do I get a phone call?
Who to? The duty solicitor? We're not holding you on a speeding charge.
We're holding you under the 2000 Terrorism Act, under which we can detain you for 7 days without charge, and longer if the friendly in-house magistrate agrees.
Which, after careful consideration of each case on its individual merits, he usually does.
But tell us what we want to know, and then you can be home in time for tea and crumpets.
At either 32 St. David's Road, Hereford, with the wife Nancy, or at 43 Kenilworth Road, Derby, with the girlfriend, the lovely Lucy.
As far as I know, it's not a criminal offense to be having an affair.
Perhaps not. But storing high-tech weaponry in an old Soviet arms dump is.
Who's running you?
Why should I say? I don't even know who you are.
If you're planning on not cooperating, this isn't going to be nice. Take your time. But think very carefully about the choices you're making.
Terrible timing, Ruth, I know, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to put an additional burden your way.
Of course, Harry.
As you know, the Lord High Executioner, our Director General, is retiring at the end of the summer.
Personal reasons.
Exactly, personal reasons. And they've asked me to apply for the position.
Congratulations.
Of course, it's not just me, there's a shortlist, but they want me to go for an interview. And when they invite you, they make it very hard to say no.
Well, I can help you prepare for the interview. Likely questions, stuff like that. Obvious things about the future of the service, plans, past operations, failings, threats.
Thank you, Ruth, but...
Not at the expense of our current operation.
And I'd appreciate it if you kept this to yourself. You know, kept it secret.
Of course. Isn't that what we're meant to be good at?
How many arms dumps have you visited recently?
Fascinating history those places have. Soviets built them near the British Air Force bases during the Cold War. I've been involved in a number of operations whose, what did my old colonel like to call it, whose provenance was unclear. You jump out of a plane at night with 120 pounds strapped to your feet, knowing that when you land there's going to be people trying to kill you. You don't have the time to worry about who dreamt the whole thing up.
Stop.
What?
I've already warned you about this. You're just talking. Just talking this into the ground. Well, we're not going to get bored and go away.
I'm telling you that I'm just a private contractor.
Who countersigned your contract?
What contract?
Well, you're not doing this for charity. Somebody with your considerable expertise is being paid a lot, and I don't believe that you would be in a state of blissful ignorance about whoever's footing the bill.
That depends on the nature of the operation. The more deniable it is, the more everybody involved has to be overqualified, even for the most mundane job. I was just doing the heavy lifting.
Morgan's bank statements make interesting reading. He earns a lot and clearly likes to spend it.
Clearly our first option is to offer him money.
And if he's stupid enough to turn that down, then we'll start with a little asset stripping.
No, he's a mercenary. Let's try and do a deal with him first.
He definitely knows what's going on, so why isn't he telling us? Right, let's go for finance first. Danny, offer him the deal, and if he doesn't take it, get his signature anyway, and we'll drain his accounts.
You okay?
Of course, I like this stuff.
Just remember what it's like on the other side.
Not likely to forget.
I think you should be prepared to answer questions on 4 main areas. The state of readiness of the service, your character and operational experience, and most importantly, the nature of the present threat. How far do we go to combat it? How far do we go in all senses?
Is there anything we shouldn't be doing? Yes, I like that.
Yeah, how about the other candidates? Do we know who they are?
Of course not. Nor, Ruth, could I openly approve of anyone trying to find them out.
But if a list of them happened...
To find its way onto my desk, then I'd have to send it back to its rightful owner, unopened.
When you've got your circulation back, I'd like you to sign for your belongings.
Where's my car?
Having it valeted. Help yourself.
Thanks, but I'm not hungry.
Something wrong?
No.
Okay, look at this from my perspective. We find you next to an old Soviet arms dump full of new kit. In fact, so new that my technical guys think Christmas has come early. And still, you claim that you're just the water carrier.
I've told you all that I know.
Look, we know how much you guys get paid if a job like this works out. Just tell us what this is about, and we'll match that figure. Look, we'll make sure that you're not prosecuted and that you're compensated to the full amount.
What's this?
A deal for you to sign. You don't believe me? Okay, well, as you know, this is all being taped. And if you still have doubts, we'll get in that lawyer you asked for. A witness. Anyone you like. Okay, look, I know you've done all that anti-interrogation stuff. We all know how this works. You're gonna have to give us something. This is the best way of doing it. Still not hungry?
No.
Just tell us the nature of this operation, and that deal still stands whenever you want. Okay, I know you guys have a rather sniffy attitude to the security services because you're the glory boys, aren't you? I mean, we can't necessarily run up a hill carrying a tree trunk or score 20 out of 20 on the pop gun range. But then, you always find people to do that for us. What we are capable of is a very different type of operation. In your case, making sure that no area of your life goes uncontaminated. Everything that you have worked to achieve, we can unravel. And if you don't believe me, just watch. I'll get the signature to Ruth to deal with.
Good. We need to up the ante. Let's put a siren loop in there.
Are you sure about that?
The more we turn up the heat, the more effective your role becomes, Danny. Let's put him in the stress position and have a guard on him 24 hours, then I'll go in and give him the bad news about his money. I know what he's thinking. I know exactly what's going through his head.
How come?
It's just one of the things I know.
Most sensitive to that exact pitch. So it drives you slowly insane and can lead to complete hearing loss.
Isn't that called torture?
I have accessed a list of all Morgan's deposits and withdrawals.
If he's clever, he'll have deposited all the cash in small amounts.
Exactly.
Thanks, Ruth. Small amounts of money found in Morgan's numerous bank accounts can be traced back to one large deposit. £100,000 was credited to an account belonging to Ken Johnson, one of Morgan's pseudonyms, in Saffron Walden on the 31st of last month. Any tie-up?
Oh, yes. Instructions were received that day to go to Saffron Walden from...
a private bank in the city.
Good. Find out whose account that money came from. We've traced the account to a subsidiary of none other than Anglo-West African Oil.
An oil company? A laser designator. It doesn't add up.
Well, the payment trail was extremely well hidden. It's clearly not part of the kind of business strategy that's likely to be announced in the annual report.
Anglo-West African is bidding for a pipeline contract right across the Ivory Coast. There's enough oil there to provide 30% of the world's supplies, which would bypass any reliance on the Middle East. So much so that Her Majesty's government has offered to actually pay for most of the pipeline with taxpayers' money.
We need to get somebody high up at Anglo to tell us what's going on here.
I've already got a list of possible executives we might recruit.
Subject to the usual array of human failings, I trust?
I prefer to work with more positive aspects.
Each to their own.
Okay, I think Morgan will be softened up enough by now. I'm going to get back in there.
Just like to say how glad we are to have you staying with us at 5. We're lucky to have you.
I'll need Malcolm to organise me a pool car.
Of course. Nothing too special.
What were you doing? You must have seen me coming.
I'm sorry, I didn't. I just didn't.
What do you think the mirrors are for?
Look, I don't know the insurance company or anything. My husband looks after all that, but here, let me give you my card. Have you got a pen? I'll write my registration number on the back. Thanks. Sorry.
Oh, here's my card and my insurer's.
Do you live nearby? You're going to be okay getting back? It's just that I live just off the Wellington Road, if it's any help.
Look, I want it repaired. Just call me with the details.
Sure. Sorry. Juliet Taylor, 38, lefty at university, classic sellout. Had 3 crashes in the last year, which is why I thought just a car accident was the best form of introduction, given our time restraints.
Good. She's going to want to settle in formally rather than through the insurers. Is she the right person?
Number 2 to the Director of Finance. Best person to ask about dodgy money trails and who's receiving them.
Weak spots?
Her daughter Mattie. She's rather desperate to get into the local posh school.
Use that. Although it could take some time, which we don't have. We need to find a more immediate way.
Also, I need somewhere to meet her. Our place is still a bit of a tip.
Use Danny's flat.
Won't he mind?
No, why should he?
What?
Nothing.
Four years ago, I was taken prisoner in the Yemen by a group I was working with. I was undercover as an aid worker.
How long did they hold you for?
Long enough.
And?
Did they torture me? Yes, they did. And nothing, Danny, that's what they did. You got your bottle? We have to move it up a gear. What's the target? This will go on until you tell me. The physical stuff's just a sideshow, you'll get over that. But this other stuff, this will be with you forever. We've got into your accounts. Paid a visit to your bank. Thank you, by the way, for your signature. You've been well paid recently, but this morning, with our help, you donated all your savings to charity. And that includes the $200,000 you didn't tell the revenue about that's been sitting in your private bank account in Geneva. Or maybe if you're lucky, they'll name a ward after you in some godforsaken hospital in the Sudan. What? You think I'm bluffing? You think you can always make it back again working for one of your old friends? Or your old mates? In about 15 minutes, you're going to seriously regret that.
Shit.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be a lot of that.
Take this now. Drink it before it gets worse. There's an antidote in here. It'll be effective in 10 minutes.
And if you're bullshitting me?
Fine. Don't tell me anything until you're better. Look, I'll throw in the money as well. What more can I say? What is it with you? Why are you making your life so impossible? You have about 5 minutes before it gets really nasty. Just remember, you brought this on yourself.
target a missile at central London. There's no comparison.
Why is he resisting so hard? Have you asked yourself that?
Yes, all the time.
You must have some very good reason, and it doesn't seem to be money. What's our next step?
Let's continue with friends. Then I'm going to get very specific about the laser designator.
But then he'll know he's getting close to the finishing post.
Oh, I can make that seem like a very long way away.
I haven't got long.
Sure, sorry, I've spoken to my husband about the insurance, and I have all the details and everything. It's just that he's a bit worried about our no-claims bonus.
Well, I'm not thrilled at the prospect of having to talk to mine either.
Well, would you be happy to settle in cash?
That would suit me fine. You've got my address. You'll drop it round?
Of course, that's no problem. My daughter's school's just round the corner. Trinity House.
Really? I want to send my little girl there, but everybody keeps saying how impossible it is to get in.
Oh, you know, there are ways, as with everything. I mean, I'm on the PTA. If there's anything I can do to help.
Well, I'm not sure I could...
No, really, it's the least I can do, considering the damage I've done.
Why don't I drop by your place?
Great. Yeah, I'll tidy up.
Okay. You get out of here broke, but in one piece. Are you listening to me? Because I'm predicting your future here for you. Nod if you can hear me. Now, the one glimmer of light that you can see at the moment is that all the people you work with, all the old boys from the army, all your friends, you think they'll stick with you, help you back on your feet. But what if we tamper with your military records as well? My guess is that'll make you virtually unemployable. Let's say that you exaggerated your success in the army. Let's say that your main claim to fame actually turned out to be a series of botched operations where you were both negligent of your men and cowardly in the face of enemy fire.
The men I served with will know that's a load of old bollocks.
Okay, then, well, let's have a look at the people you serve with and who you now work with in the private security business. All their companies have another very important relationship, apart from the one that they have with you, and that's the one that they enjoy with Her Majesty's government. Us. Or at the moment, me. Now, if we present your friends with a choice, by all means, use Morgan, none better, but if you do, you'll never work on another government contract again. What do you think they'll do? Is their loyalty going to be to the good old days, or will it be the future of their companies? Themselves? Their families?
I know who my friends are.
No, they'll still be your friends. They just won't be offering you any more work, not if they want to stay solvent. You know why? Because they won't be getting any more business from us. What's in this for you? I mean, look at you. You haven't slept or eaten for 36 hours. Your guts are shot to pieces. The longer you don't tell me anything, the more I know you're hiding something really big. What's the operation? What's the target? I mean, if it's the money, then the money's all gone. So what's it for? The old days? All your colleagues who only just made it back, who are destined to have a black strip over their eyes in one of those kiss and tell books with flames on the outside that you lot keep writing. What are you so frightened of? What they'll do to you? Is that it? I know what you're thinking. If I
I can hold out another 24 hours, another 36, if I can hold out that long, I know what you've trained yourself to think about because I devised the course. We know you're using a laser designator. Ah, that got your attention. Now, tell me what the target is and when you're planning the attack, or I'll make things so bad that everything that's happened to you in the last few hours will seem like a pleasant memory. He's more frightened of what his friends will do to him than he is of us.
I'm not so sure about that. Look, I think it's time we moved to the third F.
Family.
Perhaps we should have just started with family.
I always hope we won't have to go there. But sometimes we have no choice. Sometimes we have to behave worse than them.
You mean we have to create the impression that we're capable of behaving worse?
We'll just behave worse. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to find out what we need to find out.
Look, don't you see what the danger is here?
What, that something blows up in the middle of London and we don't stop it?
No, that we turn into them. The people we're fighting, people like Morgan.
Yeah, that's a danger. But at the moment, I can't see any alternative. I'm going home to wash.
Friends and finance aren't working. I'm worried that when Adam moves on to family, things could get pretty nasty. We need something from Juliet Taylor.
My new best friend.
Good. Get her to tell us why Anglo-West African Oil are paying Morgan.
I'm on it.
I see the covert entry boys are doing their work on Morgan's life.
Harry, is there any area that we don't touch?
Ethics, here.
I'm serious. Say, to do with his family. Morgan's daughter, Mary, she's 8. She needs a liver transplant. They're looking for a donor. She has her mother's surname, that's why we didn't find it before. And look, he calls her all the time. I mean, it's quite possible that I just never came across this particular piece of information.
You mean because you don't trust what Adam might do with it? We don't know where this is all going.
Though we do know that it's nothing to do with his sick daughter. You don't think she's got enough on her plate? I mean, do you never draw the line on this stuff?
Where's your little girl?
Oh, she's staying with her granny for the week. I think this is all of it. Thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it.
You were at Manchester?
Oh, no, my husband was. He loved it.
So did I. I did political science, which at the time was a sort of hotbed of radicalism. Funny how your life changes. Now I find myself working for, of all things, an oil company.
What do you think about that?
Well, a big mortgage to pay tends to sharpen the senses a little. Oh, sorry. Oh, I really need to take this. Can I use your hall?
Sure.
Thanks. Tom's at the rugby and Mattie's playing with a friend. We'll have a couple of hours.
Where are you?
Trying to sort out this nightmare with the car, but I'm only 5 minutes away.
I'll be waiting for you.
Dying to see you. Sorry about that. My mum, she's not been well recently.
Oh, dear.
Well, do what you can. You know how it is.
Potentially, it's dynamite.
My thoughts exactly. But we should
save it until the end.
Until we really need it.
It's the worst thing we can do with this information.
Remove the daughter from the list waiting for donors, or something more immediate?
Put her in danger, wherever that may be.
You know what I like about you, Harris? You never say that imagine if it was your daughter stuff.
Imaginative compassion may be a very good thing, but it's not always useful in this job.
The father-daughter relationship's strong. Medical records indicate that he's paid for all the treatment. I haven't got any insurance, but he's taken a private.
And the mother?
Remarried. Other children. Who found this stuff?
Ruth.
She can't have been happy about the uses we might put it to.
I think she very nearly didn't bring it to me at all.
I just get paid, I've told you. I don't know where the money comes from.
Let me give you a clue. Does the name Anglo-West African Oil mean anything to you?
Well, I've heard of it.
Oh, come off it! That's the company you're working for. Look, you've done enough. We're impressed. Now give yourself a break. We found out who pays you. And don't forget, we've been transferring your money to all your favorite charities, particularly to save the children.
Which, with such a sick daughter, must be a cause close to your heart. You know how this works. You know what the next stage is, don't you? Family. Do you want us to go there? Your daughter. Hasn't she got enough to deal with? Without you dragging her through all this? Look at him. You probably think this has been a classic good cop, bad cop routine, don't you? But if even my colleague doesn't know how far I'm prepared to go, then how comfortable are you feeling right now?
You know, I'm not speaking to you officially, Harry.
I've gathered that. Your sudden desire to take in the view was a bit of a giveaway.
I'm just pointing out that Adam's background means that, well...
His experiences in the Middle East?
Yeah. Make me worried about the fact...
How far he'll go?
Well, it's not so much that as the fact that he loses himself in this. It's like he's paying Morgan back for what happened to him. I feel awful going behind his back like this.
Oh, what with all the urgency. We have to find a more informal way. Is there anything specific I can do? Anything that would help?
I suppose it's the daughter I feel most uneasy about. If it was possible, I'd like you to call that one before we directly involve her.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that. I was simply trying to keep you above it all. What was that stuff you said to me about deniability?
You're right, I did say that, but I'm willing to take my share of the responsibility, so I suppose now I'm saying something different.
You're not going to weaken on me, are you, Harry?
Never been known to.
Fee, you have to close on her. We're running out of time here, and he's still holding out on us.
Well, I can't appeal to Judith's lefty past. There's no ethical dimension to her life. There is this, though. She's having an affair.
Okay, use it to blackmail her. She tells us who Morgan's working for, or we tell her husband.
How do you know this?
I listened to a conversation she had with her lover, and then, of course, I followed her to an address where she was met by a rather handsome stranger.
Blackmail may not be healthy for a long-term relationship with a source, but it can be highly effective in the short term.
We all do things we'd rather not. You bitch. Anglo-West African Oil is employing someone called Robert Morgan. I want you to find out what he's doing for him.
I can't possibly get access to information like that.
I think you probably can.
What do you mean? Why would they talk to me?
Juliet, I wanted this to be amicable and friendly. I really did. It's just not turned out that way. I strongly suggest that you help us, and then everything will be forgotten.
Forgotten? What are you talking about? Some of us have some principles that don't include spying on our own companies. How do you sleep at night?
Not as well as you. Especially after your long afternoons with your friend Simon. Or do your principles include screwing around behind your husband's back? I want that information. And I want it this afternoon.
Tell me.
I never betray my team.
You will.
We'll make sure there's no fallout from the people you work with.
Now, how are you going to do that?
By making it look like we discovered all this another way.
You know about this shit, don't you?
What do you mean?
I mean, you know. Not just from training. You've been through this, haven't you?
A lot worse.
Thought so.
And I'm prepared to go there again. Just to show you what it's like.
Robert Morgan is employed by Anglo-West African Oil.
Yes, that much we know. It's why you're in this awkward position.
He's paid by a department called External Development, who are just being used to look into any opposition to our plans for strategic growth.
And things like the pipeline contract. Opposition from within African countries?
Eventually. But also...
Rivals for the contract. That's it, isn't it?
I don't know any more than that. Who are you calling?
You're home. I've got tapes as well. If your husband sees how much more you're enjoying yourself with your afternoon lover...
Okay. External Development is mostly concerned with our rivals over the African pipeline contract, the Oil and Petroleum Corporation. All I know is that something major is planned. Something that will remove them as a player. Please, I've told you everything.
I'm not calling your husband. I'm calling mine.
Anglo-West African are going to use Morgan and his team to guide a missile onto the headquarters of their biggest rival?
But make it look like a terrorist attack, yes.
Where's the missile coming from?
That's what we don't know.
Well, clear the building. At least we can minimize civilian casualties.
We can't have bombs raining down on our capital. We need to find that designator.
What are you going to do?
Take Morgan on a trip down the river. Danny, I need your help. You're going to take someone on a short tour of an oil company headquarters.
Better not be who I think it is.
Where's the designator and the rest of your team? The laser beam is targeting a bomb to that building there, just as you planned. Why don't you take a look and see where your bomb's going to land when your mission is successful? We told your daughter that this was a special sightseeing trip that you'd organised for her, to apologise for not being in contact recently. She thinks she's going to meet you there. Where's the designator?
I need a new identity. Me and my family. Can you guarantee my safety?
Danny, leave her. Leave the girl and get out of there.
Half a mile downstream, attached to the embankment wall, just before Waterloo Bridge.
And the team with the launcher? She's still up there.
Crystal Palace, the park, Rox Hill's entrance. I'll get her out of there.
Danny, you can bring her down now.
You know I'm a dead man, don't you? They'll find me wherever I go. That's what it does to you, doesn't it?
What?
The realization that there are no depths to which you wouldn't sink because of what happened to you before. And you'll always carry it with you. Just you wait. When they kick you out, you'll be just like me, out in the open market. And there's people who'll pay a lot of money to employ a private contractor like you.
You gonna put in a good word for me? I serve my country, not the highest bidder. You remember what that was like? And don't try and dignify what you do with all that stuff about private contractors. Call it by its real name. You're a mercenary.
Is there anything you don't do? I mean, does the present climate put anything off limits? Or does the end always justify the means?
I certainly believe that as chief of an organization, you can't be involved in every decision, but you can set the tone for what is and what isn't acceptable.
And on what isn't, is there a line that you don't cross?
Definitely. What was it Patton said about being permitted to walk with the devil to enable you to cross the bridge? But the end can never justify the means entirely. You have to be smarter than that. Otherwise, what are we defending? What are we fighting for?
You spoke about your job as one of defending democracy from all sides, apart from the obvious ones. What other threats were you thinking of?
It's too easy to always look abroad, to think that's where the main danger is coming from. We need to look closer to home.
Give me a for instance.
I believe that corporate access to the higher reaches of government is far too easy, and that a great deal of foreign policy can be traced back directly to the boardrooms of our large multinationals.
But hasn't it always been this way? And surely these are just theoretical threats.
No, they are not just theoretical threats. These people will stop at nothing to get their way. It's difficult to set your own limits when dealing with those people. To resist behaving like they do, it's not always easy.
Did you use the daughter?
I have no choice.
I'm sorry you had to do that.
Yeah, so am I. Made a decision about these colours. Now, what about these two? Cobalt blue or azure? Well, they both look the same to me.
No, they're not.
Well, look, here's another cobalt blue, but it's different. I mean, how do I know? There must be a book or something that tells you what colour cobalt blue really is. You know, it gives you a definitive colour.
I think you're taking this truth thing a bit too far. Stop being so literal-minded. This is home, it's real life.
There has to be a viable standard, a benchmark, so everyone knows what they're bloody doing.
I think we'll probably leave the paints for a while now, don't you?
I'm just saying, how can I decide if I can't tell the difference?
I know, I can see that. I'm sorry, come on. Come on, let's go get a drink. I feel like we need to be surrounded by people we don't know.
And in business news today, Anglo-West African Oil has taken a huge hit as its share price tumbled by 40%. The London stock market is predicting further falls in the next few days, following news that the company has been unsuccessful in its bid for a significant pipeline contract across the Ivory Coast. The company's managing director resigned today with immediate effect.
See, wrongs righted, evildoers brought to heel, miracles performed. Is there no end to our goodness, Ruth? I got down to the final two, and they parachuted a late contender into the job.
But that's good, isn't it? It's what you wanted.
Yes, but it's still annoying when the best man for the job is passed over for a politician. Seems you were right.
Yes. But I'm pleased.
Yeah, well, I'm not. There's a scratch on the floor of my flat. Seemed the removal men weren't careful enough after Fiona moved out.
My point exactly. I wouldn't be involved in any of these crucial issues if I were DG. We'll get the removal men in and set Adam on them. He'll get to the bottom of it, if anyone will. Off out, are we, Ruth?
Yes, I'm only 3 days late. And if anything happens between here and the pods, please don't tell me.
Ruth?
I'm not listening.